भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम अज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं समगमनं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सखगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च श्रीकृष्ण करुणासिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे। करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं धर्माधर्मात्मां श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। Okay. So we have time constraints. 10-15?
Including question answer.
Including question answers. 15, half an hour gone.
So many weeks we will have to continue like this.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be a seminar with, it has to be interactive with some activities involved. So it cannot be covered up in half an hour to 1 hour. But we will see how much we can cover today.
So we can slowly Mataji do that restricted time and keep coming to this.
So today we will discuss the Grihastha ashram in terms of the various aspects that are involved with respect to the acronym. So each letter represents one aspect, one quality that if we meditate upon, that we can lead a happy Grihastha ashram life and progress towards the ultimate goal of getting closer to Krishna along with our partner. So if you see G, God-centric. So we know it's an ashram. So the key aspect of ashram is to take ashray of who? The Supreme Lord, right? So we need to be God conscious all the time in whatever we do.
So God-centric, here we will try to discuss about different couples. We will show the progression. We'll talk about that in detail. How from being selfish to selfless, how we move on. This is for that. I'm audible, right?
It's not needed.
Huh?
It's not.
I don't know. This is needed for that.
That's not working, so we remove
Okay,
it.
okay, fine. We'll use the mic.
We will not. We don't need this.
Yeah, it's all.
We'll use the mic.
Okay. So the first letter G, we will discuss how we have to move from life being very selfish, self-motivated to being selfless, totally surrendered to Krishna and doing everything for his pleasure. Then R will be discussing about roles and responsibilities, especially in today's world How do we understand from the Vedic perspective and Srila Prabhupada's teachings? How do we apply all those principles in today's lives? Then intention, that while carrying out the roles and responsibilities, we somehow, somewhere may forget about our intention towards Lord and towards keeping each other happy in Krishna consciousness, and everything becomes very monotonous and we just carry it out as our regular duties. So what our intention should be behind that. And then happy home, we will be covering up some habits. What healthy habits we should have to keep our relationship healthy and a happy home. Affectionate care, again, though we love and understand each other, several times we forget to express that. So how do we express our affection and care? So we'll be discussing some points under that. And spiritual guidance, despite doing our best, if somewhere we are not able to resolve problems on our own, both the partners are suffering from low consciousness, so definitely they should seek guidance from some mentor, some senior devotee. Then teamwork to manage conflict, again, how both the sides they come together to resolve conflicts. We should not blame just one partner for that. Then harmony within and without, how our Krishna consciousness helps us to bring in harmony within ourselves, that helps us to see everything outside also in harmony. Everything becomes harmonious for us if we are at peace in our heart. Then advance and preach, definitely how do we advance in our Grihastha ashram by bringing forth Krishna conscious children, and how do we preach by example. So today, I don't know how much we'll be able to cover, because God-centering is a pretty big topic. We have covered up some stories from scriptures and from our day-to-day lives. With examples, we would like to discuss that. So, but anyways, our plan for today is to cover up GRI. Let's see, Krishna willing, how much we'll be able to cover up.
Okay, so God-centric. So one good aspect of Grihastha ashram is that we have a constant companion with us all the time, right? So the couple is always along with each other through all the ups and downs of life, whatever the situation may be, good times, bad times, and all the way till the end of life. And that is the most important point. Like Krishna says, whatever you remember at the end of life is what you'll get and will decide on your onward journey towards Him. So that means what? That there is a relationship. So we have to be very careful and have a loving relationship with each other, take care of each other's needs, and respect, appreciate, like Ashwin was saying. So these are all the aspects. And then it is a progression, like we had seen earlier classes also, right? That how the progression is from me centric to God centric. So Graha Medi, if you see, is on this side where me conscious, and then Grihastha ashram is what's the end result, being God centric. So there are challenges obviously on this journey, but we have to be together and keep progressing on this path, and then eventually we reach there. So as she was saying that we are going to cover some couples' lives, how they have demonstrated this aspect of this journey. So basically, so how couples cooperate and work together. From me, it is like working for myself, to then working, cooperating with the other loved person, then expanding the horizon. So taking sacrifices for not just each other, but for the community, the family, the nation, and eventually God.
So the first couple, so you can see here we were covering up 5 types of couples, from me to God-centric. So I-centric, though the two partners come together, still it is 1 + 1 = 1. I am the center of everything, not even my partner. It is I-centric. Everything should revolve around me, my needs. So basically this is like exploiting the powerful partner. He exploits the the less powerful one. So there is no compatibility, no compassion, no care. Just forget about consciousness level, raising each other's consciousness. That is definitely not there. So here, because there is no challenge to fulfill your desires, you are not having any challenge. No sacrifice. So the longevity and the durability, the satisfaction in this ashram, that is not there. So these marriages usually end up in courts. For example, we can see here a couple, both of them are working, like as I said, we will be considering it in today's times view. So if both the partners are working, and if the female partner is getting a better offer in some other city, and the male partner, he is expecting a promotion in his current company at the present place. So what should they decide? So he would want to stay here for his promotion, the girl would want to go for a better opportunity outside the city. So there is no compromise, no understanding for each other, and the result eventually would be in courts, divorce. So there is no satisfaction, no sacrifice, and no compatibility. So definitely these marriages don't last long.
So we are seeing some of these things exploding in the society now. So many males are taking drastic steps because of
Female empowerment, that is not accepted by many of the males. So we recently saw in the news also, men are committing suicide. Yeah, so they go in depression, suicide and all that because female empowerment is not accepted by all males.
And such Krishna says, Kripana Phala Hetva. So like if we are, eye-centric, just focused on our work, our results, then we are Kripana. So we should rise up from there and engage in sacrifice and towards the pleasure of the Supreme. And then moving on to V-centric. So V-centric is like the previous one, so 1 plus 1 is equal to 1. So we are always focused on us. Here it's 1 plus 1 is 2 or greater than 2. We are progressing towards that. Right? So and you can see some of the couples which demonstrate this so wonderfully. So the top right, you know who that family is? Mary Com. So most of us know about Mary Com, right? She's a professional boxer. And does anybody know about her family members? Huh? 2 children. 1 husband. So yeah, now, yeah. So the challenges what were faced by her, what she went through, that we don't see. Who are behind her success, we don't see. We just see Mary Com representing India, getting medal, getting glories. But what was the secret behind that? Right, so it was a difficult life. As you see, she had 2 children to take care of, and with the family life, with all those responsibilities, it becomes very difficult to practice and compete at that level. You're representing a country; it's a big tournament. So she was kind of like, I cannot do this, and ready to give it up. But what happened? The husband stepped up. He was like, okay, for you, I will take up all the activities at home. You don't worry about that. You go ahead, practice, and do your best. And he then took care of the children, took care of the household duties, and that allowed her to step up and do her best, and then got all the glories. So if we see that, that's the sacrifice that husband took, and that resulted in the overall well-being of the family, bringing glory not only to them but to the whole nation.
It was like she had to go for world championship, and both the kids were sick. And she decided that no, I have to stay back, taking care of my kids. That is my responsibility. Roles and responsibility. Again, we cover up several points, under all these topics. So this is my responsibility. And husband said, no. Being the father of the children, I also have a responsibility towards them. I will take care of the children, and you have a very good opportunity. You need to go out and participate in this. And then where did that championship took her? We know that. So the husband, like it's said that for behind every man there is a successful woman. But behind every success, behind the success of every man there is a woman. But it holds true the other way also. Behind the success of every woman there is a man also.
And then Narayan Murthy, Sudha Murthy, everybody knows. Being in Bangalore, if we don't know, then we are not Bangaloreans. Again, the sacrifice taken by whom in this case? Sudha Murthy. Right? She also has a wonderful career ahead of us, but what was their priority? Priority was family, relationships. That is more important than any awards, achievements, money that will come along. So she took that seat, and we see how wonderfully they depict this aspect of family life. And then on the left, so anybody knows them? So this is Lakshmi. She was an acid attack victim, and the person is Alok. So when she was very young, just 15 years old, and somebody threw acid on her face, and then this person Alok, he was a journalist. So while covering all those aspects, when he got to know her and the difficult situation she was in, he gave up his job and just joined hands with her to help her with this cause. They worked to set up an NGO so that all these acid victims, they get help, and gave up his everything, sacrificed his job, his life to help her, and they both eventually got together. They got a daughter also. So that again shows the sacrifice, and that physical beauty is not important. Love and care, that is higher than physical beauty.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
So from these couples, from we understand that both the partners need to have confidence in each other, and they should be ready to provide safety net to each other. Whenever somebody is in trouble, the other partner, even if he is staying back or he or she is staying back, that doesn't show their weakness, that rather shows their strength. Because only a strong person can give strength or support to someone. So they are giving a safety net to their partner. So we should not consider that we are compromising and we are weaker or something. No, we are being stronger in helping our partner.
And then going forward, so family centric. So now not just between the couples, but the family also. Wives, family, parents, and similar to the other way around. So here we see a couple of examples. One is this is a story from Bible. So Naomi and Ruth. I don't know if anybody has heard of that. So Naomi, is the mother-in-law in this picture, and had two sons. So she lost her husband and both her sons, and both her sons were married. So the elder son's wife is Naomi here, Ruth in fact, and the younger one also wife. So all three of them were widowed. Now so this lady Naomi said, the mother-in-law, that to her daughter-in-laws, that you both can go back to your family and live your life now that your husbands are not there. So the younger one, she went back, and this mother-in-law, she wanted to go back to her place. So it's like the Israel, that area. So Judah is where she had come from, and wanted to go back there. So Naomi was like, no, I will be with you no matter what. I want to serve you. Whatever you do, I'll be with you. So that's the sacrifice that she took. That I don't want my own pleasures, but I want to fulfill my duty towards you, and that will give me happiness. So she then traveled along with her back to Judah, and that's where she then eventually later on met a person, Boaz, and he became her husband, and then eventually her life was.
He was a very rich man.
Of that area, and then his son. So in that family, their grandson was David, and David, in biblical history, in fact, is a person. He was a ruler at that time, and he brought together everybody in unison. So Israel and Egypt, and that area has a lot of history. So he brought all of those together in terms of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. All of them he brought together. So David is a popular personality who is revered in both Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. So that if you see, it's the Lord's bigger plan. So how she served in that.
So the sacrifice and service never goes waste. Krishna reciprocates in a much bigger way. So this lady was not being I-centered, that I have to live my life, I am so young, I have to fulfill my desires. Rather, she understood the loss of her mother-in-law, that I have lost only my husband, but you have lost your husband as well as your sons. So your loss is bigger than me, and I cannot leave you in this state, I need to serve you. So fulfilled her duties. And then
Next one we see Lakshman and Urmila, right? So how they sacrificed again to serve their parents, their family. So Lakshman has sacrificed his personal life to serve Lord Ram, so he was with him. And Urmila, she stayed back at the kingdom palace serving their mother. So they both sacrificed their personal life towards a higher purpose. So that again brings happiness, and Krishna is pleased. When we undertake acts of sacrifice, that pleases Krishna.
We all understand from Ramayana how Lakshman is embodiment of service, mode of service, but we hardly hear about Urmila. So Urmila's also, mode of service and sacrifice is to be acknowledged and appreciated. How she stayed away from her husband only for the service of her mother-in-law, Mother Kaushalya. And there's another example, it's Prabhupada quotes it that once Prabhupada was traveling in train and he saw a wife feeding her handicapped husband. She put the napkin and washed his mouth and fed him with spoon, and then again whenever he was dropping something she was wiping it. So with so much sincerity and love she was serving her husband. So Prabhupada told the devotee accompanying him that knowingly or unknowingly she is doing devotional service, because she is serving her husband so well, she is carrying out her duty so well. So she is knowingly or unknowingly serving the Supreme Brahman, and this is what is devotional life. This is Krishna consciousness. Not just chanting, ignoring husband, that is not Krishna consciousness. With the proper mood, we have to serve each other.
And then taking it to a bigger level, communities at large, national level. So we see how soldiers they are ready to sacrifice their life. Parents they have their son who just joined the army and they never know whether he'll come back or not, but they're proud of it. So the highest form of sacrifice. And then if you see this one, the horse picture. So that's Hadi Rani of Mewar. So anybody knows about that? He's the husband, but that's the past tense. Anybody has heard about that?
Hadi Rani.
Yeah.
He gave the head and
Right. So here, this person, Rawat Singh, he was married to this Princess Sahal Kanwar, and just recently, they got married, and within some time, they got this notice. The husband got notice that Mughals have attacked, and we need to defend and go on this battle. So the husband was like a little reluctant, and he was like, okay, I need to go. That's also my duty. But just recently married, so he had that attachment to his wife also. So when he was going, he was like, okay, what should I do? And the wife, then what she did?
He wanted to carry something, some gift from her wife,
Memento.
which would remind him of his wife all the time. It was like, I don't feel like getting away from you. At least give me something which will keep you in my memories, so that I can remember you and I can feel connected to you all the time. But she was very wise lady, and she thought that if he keeps thinking about me, he will not be able to carry out his duty properly. So she went to her chamber, she slit her throat and gave her head in a plate. I mean, of course she didn't give it. She asked her dasi that I do this and then you offer it to the king. So the king was given that as a gift, and she had written a note that this is the gift from my side, and in reciprocation I want a gift of victory from your side.
To see, he's getting that head. So that again shows, again, an ultimate form of sacrifice to help the husband, get away from detachment. That it should not come in the path of his
And
duty.
then definitely he won the war against Mughals, and he was victorious. So here we just see that husband and wife, they can even sacrifice their lives to empower each other. So we should not get back in helping each other to this extent. Of course, we cannot imitate this, but this is just to give us an idea how sacrifice gives us satisfaction and empowers us and it makes our marriage pretty long.
Similar lines, this tree one here. So Amrita Devi, this is a Bishnoi community. So there the mood was Sir Saathe Rukh Rahe, To Bhi Sasto Jaan. So the king there in Jodhpur, wanted to cut the trees to build furniture for the palace, but the Amrita Devi here, she was like, even if I let go of my life, that is still a better bargain than getting the trees killed. So she did not allow that, and the soldiers, they killed her children, and then eventually the whole community, the 363 people, mostly women, who lost their lives in trying to save the trees. So again, a great sacrifice to follow the instructions of Guru. So they were following the instructions to preserve the nature, to preserve the wildlife, trees, and for that they were ready to sacrifice their lives. And that act is so commendable, and people appreciate all those efforts even till today when all these environmentalists. Then in today's time, that is a great cause of concern. In the middle, this is Manchi. So this person, again, his they were laborers, and there was like mining and cutting stones and all that. So there was like a big mountain, and to get water, one had to travel around the mountain, a far off place. So one time, his wife, she perished because of the heat and all that, and she was thirsty. She was trying to get the water, but it was so far away, so she succumbed. So this husband, with all their pleas, they tried to get some arrangement done, but nothing worked out. So then he just dedicated his life so that nobody else suffers like that. And what's the act that he did? He started chipping through the mountain. Let me make a shorter path so that people can just go through that easily and not have to suffer like that. So again, great sacrifice for the cause of the society at large. That this should not happen again to anybody else.
So his love for his wife, and I think she was expecting also. So the loss he had suffered, he took it in a positive way, and everybody considered him mad. Like how this man, day and night, he would be just chipping. Like he is gone mad because he has lost his wife and son. And how is this possible? But he made it possible, and he was awarded for that.
And that picture over there is Dr. Prakash Baba Amte. So he went once with his father to a remote place, tribal area, and for a picnic. But when he saw there the suffering animals and the tribal people, the condition that they were in, so he decided that he will give up the comfort of his home, his life, comfortable life, and opulence and all that, and dedicate his life to serving the community at that place, so the tribal people, the animals and all. So he set up a hospital, and he was a doctor. Set up a hospital and started giving free treatment to all those people and living beings in that area. So again, a wonderful act of sacrifice, putting one's own pleasures behind and taking that step to help others. Again, all these are praiseworthy persons who have been recognized and awarded by the government of India. Then, eventually, when one takes all these sacrifices, from this progression, this is the ultimate aim that we all want to be. That we be God conscious always. Love and serve God. So we see from Bhagavatam couple of stories. So the left one is Sukanya and Chavana Muni. So how Chavana Muni was an elder, old, and Sukanya was a young princess. But how she served her husband, and again, son of Manu, the other son of Manu, came there, and they were staying in this ashram, and an episode happened, and then her father got her married to this sage. So she was she dedicated her life just to serve the sage. And the sage was irritable. He was not like a very pleasant, going personality. Plus, he was old. But the wife did not consider any of that. She just took that it's her service, her duty to serve her husband, and she just carried on that nicely. So we see then how did the Muni reciprocate? He went to the Ashwini Kumaras and requested youth. That he asked them to give him youthful body, so that he can then reciprocate with his wife and serve her, reward her for the wonderful service that she's been doing. So we see that from this that husbands could be irritable, but they also are sensitive and caring. And for the wives, that they are very chaste, austere.
So fragile, yeah, they can be fragile,
Yeah.
they can be chaste and empowered to fulfill their dharma. So here we see both of them, despite having particular natures, they fulfilled their dharma, they strongly believed in dharma and faced all the challenges with proper mode.
And similarly, Kardama Muni Devahuti, we see how Devahuti again was Swayambhu Muni's daughter, princess, got married to Kardama Muni, again a sage. For her, it was like a complete change, from the lifestyle that she had at her father's home to coming at the husband's place.
180-degree change.
180-degree change. Many of couples would be experiencing those drastic changes, after marriage. So it's very difficult to lead that life. So in this instance also, how she served her husband so nicely. And then similar way, how Kardama Muni also reciprocated. They went for a interloka trip, for so long, and then gave her nice all the facilities, everything that she wanted. And once they had a son, Lord Kapila, then he renounced, he took Grihastha. So we see again that how one keeps the duty in front and sacrifices personal comforts, desires, but keeping God in the center.
So they both did this just as a service to Lord Brahma to beget children. So Grihastha ashram's main duty is also to beget children, God-conscious children. This was their service to Lord Brahma. So again, we may not be able to imitate all this, like though the husband is like a Chavanya Muni and wife can be Sukanya, serving him day and night, not able to please him in any possible way. But these stories, these pastimes from Bhagavatam, they invoke godly qualities in us. We don't have to imitate, but we have to be encouraged by that. But they did it, we can at least do it to some extent. So they enhance our good qualities.
And this other picture is Diti and Kashyap Muni. So this also is again a wonderful example where if you see Diti is trying to trick Kashyap Muni into
To beget a son.
beget a son. She wanted to avenge death of her sons and kill Indra. So she wanted that favor. So she was trying to trick him. Now Kashyap Muni, so he also gave in, and he initially he said that you've been such a good wife and you're serving so nicely, so I'll give you whatever you want, right? But when he comes to know that this demand from Diti, then he's very sad and he's like, okay, it's not the fault of my wife, a woman nature is like that, but because of that it's not her fault, it's my fault that I'm not able to control my senses. But now that I have given word, I have to keep that promise. So you see that husband's duty is also to uplift the consciousness of the wife. If one is in the lower modes, then to uplift that into higher consciousness. And that's what we see that was done. That he had asked her wife to observe a fast, Humshavana fast, right? And he was like, if you observe this, and that was a very strict fast, that if you can observe it, then whatever I said, you'll get it. So she tried that, but just one time she missed, and then we know how Indra came and entered the womb and made the embryo into 49. So then what happens? Now because of this austerities, the sacrifice and God consciousness that she was observing, that transformed her heart, and then she did not have that hatred or enviness towards Indra. She forgave him. So that's what we see, that the husband, how he uplifted her consciousness.
So this is the service towards each other, beyond like physical, mental, psychological. This is at the consciousness level. But if one partner falls in consciousness, in ignorance or passion, then it's the duty of the other partner to uplift the consciousness. And how do they do it? By some or the other trick, engage them in devotional service. So here the husband very wisely engaged her in a breath. It was Narayan breath. So definitely devotional service helps us to purify our heart and ultimately uplifts our consciousness.
So the ultimate goal is to please the Supreme. Right? So if we jointly cooperate, Prabhupada says, we jointly cooperate to please the Supreme Lord. That's the objective. R, you can do R.
So just a conclusion on this.
G.
So from all these examples of different types of couples, we just understand that Brahman resides in the acts of sacrifice. So greater is the sacrifice, greater are the challenges in the life, greater is the satisfaction and success of the married couples. So both of them go proportionate, hand in hand to each other. So if you become I-centric, only me, then the life will not be happy and it won't last long. Then we come to we, both the partners caring for each other, then the family. Even if the husband is not there, we saw the daughter-in-law serving the mother-in-law. And then for the community, ignoring the family or taking along the family for even a higher cause, sacrifice. And then we saw examples from Bhagavatam. So we just understand that we should not make a hue and cry over, some disparities or of some of our desires are not getting fulfilled. We should be always ready to sacrifice, because sacrifice is what makes Krishna happy. It's not fulfillment of our desires which pleases Lord. It's the sacrifices which we make, and we are doing everything to please Krishna. So we should keep that in mind.
We think that satisfying our senses will please us. It does, but it's temporary. If we please the Supreme, then we'll get the ultimate pleasure. So that's the realization that we get along this journey.
Key to please Him is sacrifice.
So now our roles and responsibilities. So based on these pictures, let's start by having some interaction. 10 minutes. But yeah, we
Going
try
as
to
fast
do
as
this.
possible.
So here, roles and responsibilities. Let's now do a little bit of thinking. Maybe we can. Okay. So from Prabhuji's side, let's roles and expectations. So what do you all think should be the roles that Mataji should be performing, or what are expectations? If anybody is not married, what are the expectations of a would-be wife? Married, what do you think should be the duties of wife? And same for you all. What do you all think that husband should be doing? So maybe, and we can just speak up now, or we want to?
No expectation.
Realized,
More expectations, more miseries.
Prabhuji के लिए higher level.
Yes, no point in expecting. It won't be matter.
Anybody who's yet to be married sitting here? They must be thinking. His expectations are achieved, but they are saying. Okay. So Yeah, I mean, from the pictures we see there are so many things that needs to be taken care of, right? And as per Vedic, uh, scriptures, there are duties of husband, wife, but are everything applicable in today's time? So let's see. Um, the principle in determining what should be, mine or the spouse's roles and responsibility is that we have to understand these two aspects, that there is spiritual equality and material difference. So what does that mean? That as soul, we're all equal, but we've got different bodies, and based on that there is a difference. So one is man, one is woman, so there has to be difference. Then the way they have been brought up, the culture, the family, the place, all those things contribute towards the nature of a personality, right? So there are differences at the material platform, but spiritual platform there is no difference. So that is one thing. And because of these differences, there should be what? Mutual respect and appreciation. That's again a very key thing, that we should respect the other person's, his nature and all. There is a reason for that, and whatever one is doing is also contributing towards the relationship. So it's there is no one thing that this is what one has to do. If he's not doing, then I will not appreciate, or ignorance, not understanding and appreciating. So these two are the key principles.
So we see the main roles of husband and wife in a family are housework, finances, parenting, and then of course spirituality. So how keeping Krishna in center, they perform all these activities, the roles. So is it possible that what was being practiced 5,000 years ago, we transpose to the 21st century now? So Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada has been very practical to give us, the teachings, the principles by which we have to comply. So we don't have to become stereotype. We have to rather negotiate and go for some positive, constructive ways how to help each other in performing all the roles and responsibilities and advancing on this path. So according to our Vedic system, women were not allowed in ashrams, but Prabhupada allowed women in ashrams because that was needed to spread Krishna consciousness in the community. So according to time, place, circumstance, according to individual's nature, according to the situation, husband and wife should be able to negotiate, understand, and move on, compiling with Srila Prabhupada's teachings. So basically the nature of a woman is that they are more empathetic, they are more compassionate, so that's why they can take better care of children and the family members, and they are good at cooking, but we have most popular cooks, chefs are male only. So I don't understand how does that go, but definitely if you have a taste that is as per your nature, so even if some men like to cook, they can cook. We shouldn't be stereotyped that no, men have to just earn money and women have to only cook. And now if both the Mataji and Prabhuji are working, we can't expect Mataji to go for work and come back and cook and clean and do everything. That will be exploitation. So the husband has to step in there, both of them have to plan where they can help each other, and not necessary that women has to stay back at home. In our olden days also we see that though like Vaishya community, if men were working in farms, women would finish work at home, they would cook, pack the lunch and go to farm. They both would sit together, have their lunch, and then the woman would also help the husband in farm work. And other cases also, now also we see like in rural areas, women are engaged in some or the other handicraft activity. They keep weaving, making something. So it's not that women are good for nothing, only bringing up children and cleaning the house. No, it's not like that. They have to just wash dishes, cook the food and clean the house. It's not like that. So male members need to understand that women also are good at it, something, they're qualified, they can step out and they can help them. But it was not considered earlier, or in some places it is still not considered, because men are more comfortable stepping out. It is safer for them, they are more comfortable to take risks. And the challenges we face outside, women being very compassionate, very sensitive, they can be hurt in some or the other way because of the politics going around. So that's why it is safer for them. But if the women is able to handle it, they should, plan and progress together. Everything can be shared in today's life. That is the point. All the duties, all the roles can be shared by both the couples, both the partners.
And the reason why we are here getting into all of this is exploitation. Right? Our Vedic culture is like woman takes care of the home, so we should not look at housewife, as she said, as a low job. No, it's in fact she's the one who holds everything together. So it's a very important job. But there was exploitation. So that made the woman also stand up, and female empowerment and all that came. But now then it's like the other way around. Now men are getting discomfort, and there are so many things, challenges that come along with that. So the key is, yes, we have to understand everybody has an individual, unique situation, and one has to negotiate through these roles and responsibilities and determine what is the best approach for them. There is no one solution that will fit for all. Vedic scriptures, there are rules like this. Wife has to do this, so you have to do this, no matter what. Otherwise, you're not doing your job. If you do that, then that will not work. And same way for the husband, if you think like that, it will not work. Right? So many examples. I mean, if we see, they are not practical in today's time. For example, Grihastha ashram, how one can be detached. So one need not cut his hairs, nails, and the one has to just use barks and leaves to wear. So that's not possible in today's time, right? And but one should be like totally dependent upon the Lord. Means what? There are a series of questions in a shloka and Chaitanya Charitamrita that isn't there caves in the mountain? Aren't there rivers that have dried up? Aren't there trees that are not giving fruits? So aren't there torn clothes lying on the street? So I mean, if we take that to application, so can we do that in today's time? No, but we have to apply the principle. Okay, I need to be detached while doing my duties, and in this situation, how do I do it? So being Krishna conscious, that is the key thing. That's the principle that we all should be endeavoring towards. And obviously chanting the holy name, that's the best thing. For Grihastha ashram, it says, Srimad Bhagavatams, that one should see all the animals, other living entities also as their own sons, children. How can we do that? Nowadays one child itself is so difficult for parents to handle. So all these things, we need to be practical and then adopt that principle again. In this case, prasadam, distribute prasadam. Distribute the holy name, Harinam Sankirtan, Yagya. If you do that, then everything is taken care of.
You can't step out of the house calling out before every meal if somebody is hungry. But what is the the principle, the motive behind that? That being Grihasthas, we should serve prasadam to everybody, and we should check nobody is hungry, if somebody is suffering, we should help them with prasadam and love and compassion they need. And the ultimate compassion is Harinam.
So when we hear any in Bhagavatam class and all, Prabhuji should be doing like this, Mata, to realize, see, you should do like this, see, you should. I told you, and that also results in a fight. So we should not be sticking to the word like that. Apply in our situation how we can.
We have to be flexible, but not compromising our Krishna consciousness. It's not that a woman is working, she comes back, she has to do everything, she is not able to complete her 16 rounds. So no, and the husband would just keep telling her, you only decided to work, now you have to face it. It shouldn't be like that. Both of them have to help each other. Okay, this time you do this, I will do this, how we can help each other. So progression on this path together. Both of them have to be happy in Krishna consciousness. That's it, I think.
Some questions here.
Huh?
We can pause for some questions.
Yeah.
One question on the same topic. So when we say the compatibility and other part of it, how much relevant today is the kundli matching for the man? For both the
Kundli matching is required as per our His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. He has very clearly said that we should match the kundli because basically that shows the nature as per the planet's positions. Will the couple be able to what is the planet's position also, they just show that, how good or bad your life will be. So if both the partners are having similar planets, matching the points basically means that, okay, they both will be having this much percentage of challenges, this much percentage of this. So those challenges, because if the husband is, he has lost his job, his planet was bad, but is the wife's planet good? She's also going to suffer because of that. So their sufferings are together, their happiness are together. So how much happiness, how much suffering they both have, they just see that. Yeah. From this time to this time, they are going to have a good time. From this time to this time, they are having bad time. So that means they are made for each other and they can go together.
We should also match kundlis for the proposals, right?
Yes,
They are
we
important.
should do that. It's a recommended proposition.
So it's like a
recommended.
collective
If you don't
karma.
believe when you are totally surrendered and sheltered at the Lord, then you may not. I mean, if both the partners are, but that is very hard. We are not at that stage yet.
Yeah, so it's a collective karma, and to make the journey, easier, right? However many problems we can avoid to make our journey smooth, that's the beginning. Because and it depends on the state of consciousness, right? So in this journey, it's good to start like that. But if one, as you said, we are Krishna conscious, then we don't need to worry about conflict.
My choice.
Closer.
Thank you. Prabhuji, Mataji, question is, while the Grihastha ashram, ideally both husband and wife are on the same page, right? And then we can look into these aspects. Looking at the way we are, for example, doing Bhakti Vriksha congregation, most of the cases, husband is into it or wife is into it, or vice versa, right? I mean, they are like, one is bigger wheel, one is smaller wheel. And whenever we have these lectures, we always talk about the idealistic scenario where how we have to be equal, serve each other. But that is the ultimate goal. But practically here, the challenges throughout the life is that way. It's like a Prahlad Maharaj mood where Prahlad Maharaj is doing bhakti, but there is a struggle all around. Right? Father is not supporting. So, any practical advice, because whole life can go in that struggle itself. And with that, the kids who are born also will not be Krishna conscious because wife is following some other sampradaya, husband is following, or wife is atheist, or husband is atheist. So practically those challenges you will see. So how you suggest to uplift them and continue this Krishna conscious journey? They could feel very demotivated and say कि मैं तो ठीक से कर नहीं रहा हूँ, तो इसे अच्छा ना करूँ, क्योंकि इससे मैं पाप हो जाएगा, ऑफेंस हो जाएगा, है ना? तो thoughts around that approach.
So, I mean, whatever we saw here, not definitely idealistic always, but we saw the example of Diti and the Kashyap Muni. So one was in lower mode, but how the husband, being very wise, tricked her in some devotional service. And as you said, if they are on different paths, or one is atheist or something, the wife definitely, I mean, if the wife is a devotee, should be wise enough to serve Prashadam and not demotivate, not be harsh to the husband. Last time we covered up these principles and values by Srila Prabhupada. Devotional service is not necessarily just chanting and serving in the temple or observing some fast or something. These sacrifices are also fasts. They are austerities. Fast means to undergo some austerity. Serving, sacrificing for each other is an austerity. That is also a fast. So whatever we do should align with Srila Prabhupada. We saw how ignoring children is not devotional service. You can ignore the service at the temple, but stay back at home to spend time with your partner. Like if the partner is not a devotee, or we have to be very, very favorable, understanding, and compromise in several ways. Getting up early, completing my rounds, but then if he wants to watch a movie, I am there for you. Instead of going around with somebody else, we have to be together for each other. If our kids also want to go out for some amusement park, or they don't want to come to temple, it's okay. We will do both. Now you come with us, for this much time we'll be in the temple, and then we all will go to this. So being a family, we have to sacrifice, we have to face these challenges. They are very obvious. In every case, I think one of the partner only comes first, mostly amongst the devotee I know. But how the other partner now, in your case also, is now more advanced than the wife also. The Mataji only tells me that. So how did that happen? You should tell us that how did that happen. So definitely ignoring, being harsh, being disrespectful to the person who is not in devotional service yet is not going to help either of them or the entire family, including children. So we have to be very careful and this way, sharing. This is your desire, you want to watch a match today, some match also, cricket match. Okay, we all will sit together and watch. But from this time to this time, evening, we will do Gaura Aarti together. We will do Kirtan for some time. So husband will definitely understand. We will cover up all these things in affectionate care and those topics. How we have to be, caring for each other, not just that, I love you. How to express that love. We should be very careful about that. It is, and ultimately, it is all Krishna's plan. Prayers that help us in all the situations. We keep praying, we keep serving prasada, but the mood of service and humility, that should be carried on all through. Not I'm superior, you are inferior. That will not work in either case.
Nowadays, we see it's not that the woman is devotional, it's the other way around. Many boys, they are more devotional, the counterpart, they pull them back. In book distribution, we see so many cases. And the boy is ready to take the book, but the girl will pull him away. So, those challenges are there, but like how we were discussing, right? That it's not one solution that applies to everything. We should not force. And this is about love. And love is not by force. Krishna never forced anything upon us. Yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. We just told, and you do what you think is right. So what is right is what we need to do. And as we practice, we also think that we've got so much of knowledge and that we are now superior than others. It comes that I know the highest knowledge. I am better than you, outsiders, non-devotees, and all that things will come. And then we look down. But that's not how we should be. In fact, with more knowledge, we should understand that we are the lowest, the servant of the servant of the servant. So instead of thinking at that platform, we should actually go down. And then we should serve everyone. A person who is not taken up Krishna consciousness is also having the Supreme Lord within him. Right?
It is there.
Yeah. So like she said, all this, everything we have to move together. And to the point you said that the two wheels are not same. Still it can work. We have cycles that has a bigger front wheel and a smaller back wheel. So that can also work. But the key thing is we need to move together. If one is not practicing devotion, it doesn't mean that that person needs to be ignored.
We have seen many non-devotees who are very caring and very helping. In devotees also we find issues. So we should not judge a person based upon that.
Because by force, things are going to break on. If we let go, the strength of the chain is the weakest link. So if we come down to that platform and help them raise up, then we'll all grow together. Otherwise, then there are expectations which will just result in frustrations.
Yeah, the reason I asked is because in our sector, we see a lot of cases. For example, Mataji is coming, but
Mataji is coming, very sincere with kid, but Prabhuji doesn't come, but is very supportive. So that is a very good step forward. So that's why I was asking practically that for them how we can
It takes
encourage.
time. We need to just tell them that don't be desperate for it. It takes time. We all are on our journey. At which point we are, we don't know. But Krishna only knows. We have to just keep doing what we can do without hurting someone. And especially in bad times, if we are together, the other person will be ready to do whatever you tell them. In bad time, if you are suffering because you didn't do this, because of this. No blame game. No, you are having bad time, it's okay, we are together. And that time, if you show them the support and the love and dependence upon Krishna, definitely that will help. So that's why miseries are must in our life. Bad times bring us together, they bring us closer. You must have experienced it also.
So the person has to, live by example. And as outsiders, not outsiders, but they should also feel that they're part of a bigger family. So this family, ISKCON, we're all Prabhupada is great, this one family. So if we also show that support and care and love to them, then and prayers for them, that is very important. So we can pray for them, and the one partner can set examples for the other. So that way we can progress.
Very nice. Very good.
Thank you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Anything from Mataji, Prabhuji? Yeah. Yes.
Ram?
Like.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much for the session. Mataji, probably my question is nowadays, because mostly both husband and wife are working, obviously their intention is to not burden the other one with all the financial responsibilities, but sometimes what might also happen is, because both of them want to progress in their career and like make sure they are earning well, there might be a little bit of competition. So how do you make sure that that competitiveness is not like, making you forget that eventually why we are doing is for cooperating with each other, and like, the goal is to together advancing Krishna consciousness?
That most likely will cover up in our intentions, bridging the gap. But despite doing best from both the sides, still there is some gap, some miss, which can lead to some conflicts, disparities and unhappiness in the family. So how again and again we have to remember our intentions towards each other and towards the Supreme. So we will cover that up. So definitely healthy, everything should be healthy. Spirituality also we have competition, but it has to be healthy. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
माताजी, ऐसे फैमिली में कोई भक्त नहीं है, मतलब वो इस्कॉन के लिए कभी कुछ बोल देते हैं, कभी कुछ, मैं उनकी पूरी सेवा करती हूँ, मतलब सबसे पहले उनको देती हूँ ताकि ये ना हो, लेकिन फिर भी कभी जब मतलब भक्ति करने में बहुत प्रॉब्लम होती है तो गुस्सा आ जाता है बहुत ज़्यादा।
आपको या फैमिली में?
मुझे भी आता है। लोग कुछ ना कुछ बोलते रहते हैं, वही करते हैं।
इस्कॉन के लिए बोलते हैं तो आपको
इस्कॉन के लिए मतलब कि क्या 24 घंटे भक्ति में लगी रहती है कि ये करती रहती है, वो करती रहती है, ये पढ़ना है, वो पढ़ना है, ऐसे करना है, तो मतलब मुझे भी गुस्सा आ जाता है, तो मैं अपना गुस्सा कंट्रोल कैसे करूँ?
गुस्सा कैन बी यूज्ड इन कृष्णा सर्विस ऑल्सो। अगर किसी भक्त की इंसल्ट हो रही है, प्रभुपाद के बारे में कोई बोल रहा है तो गुस्सा करना बहुत अच्छा है, पर हमें कोई अगर इंसल्ट कर रहा है तो हमें अपने गुस्से को कंट्रोल करना है। और घर में
हो नहीं पाता,
हाँ
कभी कभी नहीं हो पाता है,
कोई बात नहीं, धीरे धीरे होगा। चैंटिंग शुरू कर दीजिए। हरि नाम इज नॉट डिफरेंट फ्रॉम कृष्णा। जब भगवान हमारे साथ होंगे तभी हमारी हेल्प हो सकती है। वहाँ से हट जाइए, आप कुछ देर के लिए वहाँ से हट जाइए, रूम में जाके अपना जपा शुरू कर दीजिए, थोड़ा जोर से अपने जपा को, सो दैट यू कैन हियर ओनली दैट। आपका माइंड थोड़ा काम हो जाए, जो उन्होंने बोला है वो माइंड में ना सर्कुलेट करे, हरि नाम ही बस आपको सुनाई दे। तो चैंटिंग लाउडली हेल्प्स अस, बट ऑफ कोर्स उनके सामने अगर आप शुरू कर दोगे तो वो और ज़्यादा कुछ उल्टा सीधा बोलेंगे, इसलिए वहाँ से हट जाए। सबसे पहले तो वहाँ से थोड़ा अलग हो जाए ताकि वो भी कोई ऑफेंस ना करें। वो भी वैष्णव अपराध कर रहे हैं, अगर किसी डिवोटी के लिए, इस्कॉन के लिए कुछ बोल रहे हैं तो वी हैव टू अवॉइड दैट।
कभी कभार जब उनको भी गुस्सा आ जाता है तो तब बोलते हैं, वैसे तो सपोर्ट करते हैं।
कि तो उनको गुस्सा कैसे आता है? अभी आप इस्कॉन में जुड़े हैं तो डेफिनेटली आपकी इंटेलिजेंस लेवल ज़्यादा ही है उनसे, तो आप देखिए कि उनको गुस्सा ना करवाएं हम। थोड़ा सा आपको रीड करना है तो आप अलग टाइम पे आपने कर लिया। ये होता है माता जी, हमारी फैमिली में भी होता है। चैंटिंग कर रहे हैं तो कि जब देखो तुम्हारे हाथ में माला, अरे नहीं साइड में रख दी उस टाइम, क्योंकि हम जपा भी ठीक से नहीं कर पाएंगे, उनको भी टाइम नहीं दे पाएंगे, इससे अच्छा उस टाइम साइड में रख दी कि लेट अस हैव टाइम, क्या बात थी, क्या करना है बोलो, तो डू इट विद देम। उनको हमें लो नहीं दिखाना है कि आप तो कुछ कर ही नहीं रहे हो, आप तो अपना टाइम बर्बाद कर रहे हो, मैं देखो अपना टाइम कितने अच्छे से कर रही हूँ, यही है जो हमें बस करना है। वो भी स्टेट में नहीं है कि वो ये सब समझ पाए, तो हमें प्यार से, केयर से उनको जितना हम रिस्पेक्ट देंगे, अग्री करेंगे थोड़ा थोड़ा उनके साथ, तभी वो मानेंगे कि ठीक है, नहीं कोई बात नहीं, मैं बाद में करती हूँ, आप बताइए क्या काम है।
पहले मैं फोर्स करती थी कि मतलब जब थैंक यू करो, अब मैं कुछ नहीं बोलती हूँ, जो आपको अच्छा लगता है वो करो। उनको प्रसाद खिलाती हूँ।
हाँ, बस प्रसाद खिलाइए माता जी, और जितना हो सके उनको टाइम दीजिए। उनको शायद आपका टाइम नहीं मिल रहा है, इसलिए उनको फिर फ्रस्ट्रेशन होती है और वो इस पे वो सारा ब्लेम डालते हैं। तो डोंट ईट अप देयर टाइम, जो उनके साथ आपका टाइम है उनको दीजिए, और अपनी साधना अलग टाइम पे करिए, उनके साथ अच्छे बन के रहिए, तभी वो ये सब आपसे सीख पाएंगे। अदरवाइज तो उनको लगेगा कि नहीं, ये हमारा परिवार तोड़ रहा है, हमें इससे दूर ही रहना है। वो भी एक भक्ति है, भगवान को याद करके कि आपने मुझे इस सिचुएशन में डाला है फॉर योर प्लेजर ओनली, आपकी खुशी के लिए मैं इनके साथ बैठ रही हूँ, वो भी एक सेवा बन जाएगा फिर। जो हम कर रहे हैं सेवा भाव से करना है। जरूरी नहीं कि आप माला करोगे, आप भागवतम पढ़ोगे तभी कृष्ण आप खुश होंगे। जो हमने अभी तक देखा, सब लोग ये गीता और भागवत नहीं पढ़ रहे थे, कैसे एक दूसरे के लिए सेक्रीफाइस किया, तो उससे भगवान डेफिनेटली खुश होते हैं। वो हैंडीकैप पति को वाइफ ट्रेन में खाना खिला रही, प्रभुपाद ने बोला वो भी भक्ति है। तो ये सब भक्ति बन जाएगा। बस आप ये अपनी खुशी के लिए, उनकी खुशी के लिए नहीं, भगवान की खुशी के लिए करिए माता जी।
थैंक यू।
और थोड़ा पेशेंस रखिए, धीरज रखिए, हो जाएगा। मे बी युगल प्रभु जी, यू वांट टू आंसर एनीथिंग टू ऐड ऑन? We have our senior Mataji also here, Madhumati Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
You can answer better.
One thing is very important before even we become devotee, we are human beings. प्रभुपाद हमेशा कहते हैं कि भक्त बनने से पहले हमें जेंटलमैन बनना है। जेंटलमैन इज द लॉन्चिंग पैड टू भक्ति। तो कभी कभी क्या होता है, हम इनिशियल डेज में वी बिकम कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस और हम समझते हैं कि यही अल्टीमेट है, बाकी सब वेस्ट है। एंड देन वी आर लूजिंग रिस्पेक्ट टू द अदर पर्सन। द core foundation principle in a coming together family or community is a respect and service. When we respect other person, whoever it is, whatever level it is, जो भी उनका level है, जो भी उनकी whatever is that, we have to respect. If we are practicing, he is not practicing, and you think that he is waste, that is the beginning of all the crisis in the life. We have seen many examples where families start pushing that if you don't come to temple, कल से हम आपको खाना नहीं बनाएंगे, और वो बोलेंगे मैं आपको बाहर नहीं लेके जाऊंगा। नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होता। We have to be very cooperative with each other. जितना हम उनके लिए रिस्पेक्ट देंगे, it is not with the प्रचार, it is with our आचार, we can change the people's hearts. And we have seen many examples where now it is on the record, but I would say it is not to copy or imitate, but one Mataji went to the level of making a non-veg for her husband, so that एक दिन ये प्रभु हमारे भक्ति में आ जाएंगे, and हमारे प्रभुपाद जी और कृष्ण तो कुछ भी चमत्कार कर सकते हैं। Within the period of 10 to 15 months or something, जो non-veg खाते थे वो आज भक्त बन गए। So हमें अब सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ है कि हमें पेशेंस रखना है, उत्साह, निश्चय, धैर्य। We have to have patience. ये एक दिन का चमत्कार नहीं होने वाला है, एक महीने का भी नहीं होने वाला, सालों साल चले जाएंगे, एक लाइफ भी चला जाएगा। That's okay. But what we want both together serving Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. उसके लिए अगर हमें लाइफ सैक्रिफाइस करना है, that's fine. That is what it means to be. But worst thing that we can do is force. Please do not force anybody. Force is not going to work in any circumstance. The more we force it, the more is going to backfire very badly. अगर आप 25% कर रहे हैं आज, अगर फोर्स किया तो आप -25 में जाएंगे. So this only my request is don't force. Take it very cooperatively, very cordially, so that we help each other. The more we help, the more we actually better off. So last thing that we force each other. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.